For tonight's case, we're going to start off with a journal entry. December 17th, 1994, at 5 in the morning, went to the other life. Age 28, lived in Cualtepec Street, Gran Gonzales. Head weighed 1 kilo. Pancreas, liver, and heart weighed 4 kilos. Both thighs, 75 kilos. Rib and right arm, 14 kilos. Rib and left arm, 17 kilos. Bust, 1 kilo for each one. Hello, I am the Grin, and joining me tonight is the lovely
Amari.
And we have a special guest here tonight.
Amethyst.
Welcome to our podcast, a place where we do not shy away from the gruesome details, where some things may be triggering and hard to hear. Listener discretion is advised. So get yourself in the right space of mind, and let's talk about dark shit.
Okay. First thought.
Okay.
It is either somebody who killed somebody, and this is just their journal entry pretending to be them, or it is actually a coroner, a medical examiner.
If it was a medical examiner, I wouldn't be sitting here and talking about it.
It's notes from a medical examiner from somebody's death. Let me clarify. Or, no, it could be the medical examiner can be the killer, and they just find the notes because that's his profession.
That's true. But let's get into what actually happened here.
God damn it.
So tonight, we're going to talk about one of the most sadistic serial killers that Mexico has seen and who has been recently caught. We're going to talk about Andrés Filomeno Mendoza Celis, who was born on November 29th, 1947, in the village of San Sebastián Rio Dulce, located in Cimatlán de Álvarez in Oaxaca. Not much is known of his childhood, but when he became a teenager, he did leave his village to go find work and a better life in the city. So he decided to go and head towards Mexico City. It is estimated that he lived in Lomas de San Miguel Atizapan for 20 years, and it was known to everybody that he was a butcher. So he came from a place that prepared meat for human consumption, and everybody called him the Chino. Because
what?
El Chino.
El Chino?
El Chino, because of his physical appearance.
Got it. Okay.
Neighbors described him as kind, generous, and quiet. His first job there was working as a butcher here in Atizapan, in Tlalnepantlan, which he did for many years. He was also very interested in politics and participated in a campaign for Pedro Rodriguez for the position of president of the municipality. And in 2015, he was voted as president of the Citizen Participation Council for his neighborhood. Andres was.
Oh, okay.
For this reason, he started to rise economically and his status as well. During his campaign, he claimed he wanted to help homeless, specifically children, for which he would buy them food, toys, and was adamant in listening to his neighbors' complaints and resolved many of their issues. For this reason, he was very liked in the neighborhood, and as the years went by, people saw him as a very kind and gentle old man.
I'm going to pause real quick.
Yes.
You said he was born in 1947?
Mm-hmm.
So this is what you're talking right now is 2015? So he's already in his 70s?
Yes.
And he's still running and everything? Or...
He's the president of their little neighborhood, their little council.
Oh, it's just a neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Like something like a citywide.
No, citywide. Citywide he did for Pedro, the other guy that I mentioned.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
No, this was more of a popularity vote, and he won it. So
got it.
he's very liked.
Class president. Got it. There you go.
And he's very liked because a lot of people thought that he actually cared. He lived alone in his sister's house and was in charge of maintaining the house, which is located in Margarita Street. He constructed more rooms in the house so that he could have rooms to rent for people who needed a place to live. The renters did not have any issues, but once in a while they did notice that he seemed odd. But they didn't really question it since he didn't really bother them or interact with them. However, after the crimes that I'm going to describe, one woman did come forward explaining that when she lived there, Andres would ask her very personal questions like, why are you alone? Do you have a partner? Are you looking for somebody? And he would occasionally just stand there and stare at her.
Ew, that's creepy.
Some of the renters do remember also once in a while seeing scratch marks on his face and arms, but would never question it. And he would occasionally drink, but when he would occasionally drink, he would have bursts of anger. Other neighbors in the area did state that on occasion, Andres would also burn trash, in quotes, in his backyard. And sometimes the odor would be so strong that it was like the scent of a dead animal. But nobody thought much of it since everyone had so much respect for him. But behind this image of this kind, respected old man was something extremely sinister that would come to light on May 14th, 2021. So now we're going to talk about stuff that is very, very grisly.
Oh, he's old. I'm sorry. He's old.
Yeah, he is old.
My
He's
gosh.
very, very old. Now, May 14th, 2021 is when a woman named Reina Gonzalez disappeared. She lived in the same street as Andres. She worked at a shop that sold phone accessories. She lived with two of her young daughters and her husband, Bruno, who was an ex-cop. The relationship with Andres was a friendly one. Her and Bruno would help Andres in any way they could because they saw him as a little old man who lived on his own with no relatives. Andres would even start calling Reina his niece because he cared for her so much like family, which would mask his true intentions, intentions that became more and more obvious as days went by until Reina went to his house to put a stop to it on May 14th, 2021, which was the last day anybody saw her.
How old was she again?
She was in her 40s.
Reina?
Reina.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Bruno grew worried after not hearing from Reina the whole day. When his sister-in-law had no news for her or no news about her, both him and his sister-in-law went to the police. They were told that they could not process it as a missing persons case yet because there was a wait time, which I believe is the same case here.
See, okay, no. They say it's a 24-hour wait time, but I'm not sure if this is just recent years or whatnot, but it is saying that they'll tell you there's a wait time. There really isn't.
Really?
Yes.
But is that there or here?
Here in the States.
Yeah, but this all took place over there, right?
This took place all over there in Mexico.
So there's probably like different.
But when I was looking it up, I always thought that there was a wait time here too in the
No.
US.
There is not.
I did not know that.
That is a lie.
I did not know
there's
that.
not.
Okay, interesting. Learned something new. So they decided to investigate themselves. After many hours, they were able to get some recordings from nearby shop owners where Reina worked, retracing her steps and looking up the last location of her phone, which led them to Andres's house. When they arrived, Andres denied ever seeing Reina and would not let Bruno in, but Bruno forced himself in. He was instantly shocked. There was garbage scattered everywhere, and right there on the kitchen counter was Reina's purse. Now, I will say this, if you go on YouTube and look up this case, Bruno was secretly recording. If you go on the internet, you can still hear the recording. He wanted to use that as evidence in case anything happened. So when he walked into the house and he saw the kitchen counter, he saw her purse there, he immediately started bursting into tears because he thought something happened. And you can hear it. It was leaked on the internet. I'm not telling you to go listen to it, but yeah, it is out there. So there, Reina's purse. Also, Bruno, noticed a door on the floor, which led to the basement. Bruno immediately opened the door, and when he opened it, a very strong odor went up. When he went down, immediately was greeted by human remains. He called the police and restrained Andres immediately, who tried to run away. Andres was detained, and when police arrived, they couldn't believe the type of criminal that they had caught. They found more human remains, some cooked, some ready to eat, others stored in the fridge. There were many pieces of clothing belonging to women, shoes, makeup, wallets, bags, IDs, and other documents belonging to various women. They also found books on anatomy, various kitchen objects, a collection of horror movies, and a notebook where he recorded his crimes. Each page was dedicated towards a victim and described their characteristics, the day they were butchered, and other information like the one I read in the beginning of the episode.
So I wonder, like, the job of butchers, do they weigh every part like he was explaining in the beginning?
Well,
Do butchers do that, or do they just do straight to the cutting?
Butchers also like, like they'll cut the pieces if they're like gonna package them. So yeah, they probably do. Like,
well, they sell it by the pound.
They sell them, yeah. Oh, okay, I wasn't thinking that.
Yeah, because when you go to like a meat department at a grocery store,
yeah.
you see that each thing is like,
For some reason, I'm thinking like butchers have their, I don't know why. I was thinking that they just do the meat cutting and they don't do the weighing. That's like a different person who does that part.
It might be, but I think it just all depends. It's, for a small town like that, you would think like they're a butcher and they sell it too.
yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So that's why, maybe.
Or it could be just like other killers or serial killers. What is it called? Little, oh my God, what is it called? Little keepers. What is it called?
Oh, keepsakes. But we're going to get to his keepsakes.
It's a journal entry,
Yeah.
It could be, but we're going to get to his keepsakes in a moment here, because what was really important to him is what I'm going to talk about next. But in the journal, a total of 29 entries, each belonging to 29 different women. Police also found his prized possession of recordings and pictures of the actual murders. He was someone who, during the interrogation, said got off by watching the videos and pictures. The media immediately swarmed the crime scene, and many important pieces of evidence were lost, which is where people think their journal went missing.
And that's how it was found or
No.
read?
Yeah, that's how it was read. Yes.
Read.
Pictures of it are online as well.
Oh.
On May 16th, 2021, the police were ready to excavate Andres' home, since he would go on to confess that he buried many of his victims around his house. This led to them discovering hundreds of bones. Andres confessed to many killings, including that of Reina, whom he killed because she declined his advances.
I'm sorry, but she was what? In her 40s?
Mhm.
He was in his 70s? So cocky. He was like, how dare she? 30 years younger. You're not accepting me.
He... When you put it like that, it's so disgusting. On May 20th, 2021, his trial would start, and immediately the police were conducting their investigation while his lawyer was trying to basically come up with a plan for him not to get a severe sentence. But he told his lawyer that he was not going to lie because there was no point, and he knew the consequences when he started killing. He gave more details on his first victim, whom he killed over 20 years ago.
Of course, you're always going to remember your first.
Yeah, and at one point lost count of the killings. To him, he estimated about maybe 20 people. His motive: he disliked being told no by the women after he wanted to have a relationship with them, and that truly enraged him. He targeted middle to lower class women who were beautiful to him. His revenge against them was skinning off their faces and preserving it. He targeted women at bars, restaurants, and the street, offering them jobs around his house. Once in his home, he would kill them by stabbing their heart and letting them bleed out. Then he would take them to his basement to start the dismemberment process.
Okay, so you said he would skin their faces and preserve it.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like, oh, that sounds so rude, but is there a jerky room of their faces? I'm sorry, but I don't know how else to say it, because when you preserve their skin, it's gonna be like jerky.
Yeah, basically.
Dehydrated. Oh my God. Let's just change it. I said dehydrated. Okay, dehydrated sounds better than dehydrated face. Let's just say it. Let's leave it like that.
So when they walked in, yes, they found basically masks exactly of their faces.
Of all of them? Like all 29?
No, not of all 29. Only specific women.
Oh.
Women whom he deemed very beautiful.
All right.
To mask the odor, he would cover their flesh with salt, and he admitted to consuming the meat and even going as far as selling it around the neighborhood. or giving it away, explaining to the neighbors that it was from exotic animals found in Oaxaca. That way, if they actually ate any of the meat and found that there was like a weird taste, there was his explanation.
He cannibalized his whole neighborhood.
Not just his whole neighborhood.
Oh.
He would then, sometimes on occasion, take little trips to Oaxaca, fill a cooler with meat, and go to Oaxaca and give away the meat,
No.
saying to the people in Oaxaca what he told his neighbors, that it was from exotic animals located in Mexico City.
Oh my God.
You know what? I'm sorry. This made me feel weird because I don't know if whenever you guys go to like little like markets, like let's say the Saturday markets,
Yeah.
Friday markets or whatever, sometimes there are jerky stands
Oh yeah.
that they'll have kangaroo, gator,
Oh,
other ones like that.
yeah.
I
That made
don't
me
trust
feel
that.
weird.
I don't trust that.
No, that
No.
would feel weird. That
No.
I've
I
tried
can't.
kangaroo before.
Did you really?
I tried gator. I don't remember kangaroo, but I remember I tried gator.
I can't.
Too.
What made me feel so weird is because I remember at one point in my life, my mom did accept free meat from her coworker who said it was deer meat. I don't know. After reading this, it just really grossed me out. It really, really did gross me out.
You think about it, like in small towns like that, if someone's gonna come up to you and be like, "Hey, I hear some meat," like you're not gonna reject it.
You're like, my neighbor's so sweet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Then
You become class president or whatever it's called.
That's why they thought he was so generous.
Oh my God.
Mhm.
that's horrible.
Yeah.
Not gonna be that nice of a neighbor.
The media also released a few details about some of the victims. So, Rubicela Gallegos was a woman from Monterrey who went missing in 2019 when she left to Mexico City for a better life. There, she worked as a food deliverer, and when she went missing actually during one of her delivery trips in Tlanepantlan, which, if you remember, is where he used to work.
Oh my God.
Her family spent weeks looking for her until the search was called off, and they wouldn't find out her fate until 2 years later in 2021. Flor was 38 years old. She went missing. She was a mother of two young little girls. She went missing after her shift on October 16, 2019. Andres described her as very pretty, always gave her gifts, but she would decline and explain that she was not interested, which enraged him. Norma, 41, she went missing after leaving her food truck stand that she ran. She was very dedicated to her business. She texted her kids when she was closing down her food truck, and she never arrived home and remained missing since August 6th of 2011. Neighbors were shocked about everything that came to light. Some people respected him so much that they refused to believe the accusations and thought that everything was being fabricated by the police, who needed a scapegoat for these crimes.
See, I feel like people like that, they just already don't trust the police.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the reason they're like, no, there's no way. This guy's a sweetheart.
That's
Like, police lie all the time.
that's immediately what popped into my
Yeah.
head too. There was also those who preferred to stay silent because they found out everything that was happening and they feared for their own lives. The investigation led to the discovery of 3,787 remains, and in 2022, they discovered an even higher total of 4,600 remains that belonged to 17 women, one man, and one child. The police...
On his property?
On his property.
Did he admit to the man and the child?
He did not. And the important key to solving these crimes went missing because the police did fail in telling the media to step back.
Oh, because of the journal?
Of the journal.
Well, the media should know, journalists should know. You don't go on crime scenes because you're going to mess up the investigation.
People don't care. That's their job.
Yeah. They want the first news that
You're not
get there.
You're not going to capture like what actually happened.
No, but like all of that evidence, like that's money to them.
That is.
You know, like any evidence that you get that like hasn't already been presented by the cops, like that, gold.
You know
Exactly.
what? If I was freaking the family of some of those people that were murdered by him, I would sue the media or whoever the ones were, like the ones who pushed out the pictures or journals and everything. the ones first on scene, I sue them. Like, you guys are the ones who messed up.
But it's kind of hard because I haven't gotten to it yet, but so many haven't been identified that you don't know if that was your family.
No, yeah.
I'm talking about the ones who actually were said. The ones who like
Who actually have. Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. The police department did stop excavating after a certain amount of time, stating that they had more than enough to lock him up permanently. Reina's family, however, was very frustrated when they found out that the evidence was missing and how the police department handled her case in specific because of what they told the media. Police had told the media that Reina had a relationship with Andres, and after an argument, he killed her, making it a crime of passion. But her family refused to accept this, releasing their own statement explaining how the police wanted to make it or take the easy route and just get the investigation over with, avoiding any more work.
What proof did they have that she was having a relationship with him?
They had no proof.
They had no. They were just saying it.
No proof aside from making him say it. When I was doing this research, a lot of it is in Spanish, but a lot of it does say that she had a relationship with him, which they went on the media multiple times stating that that is not true. That never happened.
Who they? Bruno?
Bruno and her family.
See, that sucks though, because that could be one thing. Like, one place can spread that news, and other people, without actually looking into it, will still say the same thing over and over and over.
Exactly, and it spreads like wildfire. Yeah. So I had to be careful with what I put in here. So I went with what the family were saying and ignore some of the articles that I read because there are a lot of them, actually. Andres Mendoza was interviewed by an acclaimed psychiatrist, Fegi Ostrowski Shejet, who concluded that he had a rage in him against women and only saw them as cold and manipulators who never gave him a shot. He had very low self-esteem and hated his physical appearance, to which he helped persuade his neighbors' view of him by giving them free things. This also helped boost his ego. And he was categorized as a psychopath, stating that he knew exactly what he was doing and knew the difference between right or wrong without being remorseful about any of his actions. And in 2022, Andres Mendoza was given a life sentence and is currently locked up in prison in Tanengo del Valle for murdering 19, but only 6 were ever identified. That same year, another property was found under the family's name, to which no report has ever been released about what was discovered there. He was also tried again for a murder that was discovered that was committed on December 2nd, 2017. So as each victim is identified, his sentence will add up, is basically what the judge decided. What seemed like a defenseless old man turned out to be a master manipulator, a charmer, who committed atrocities for over 3 decades. And hiding his hatred towards women was basically his expertise.
See, you said for 3 decades he was doing something. Started when he was like in his 40s, right? He had to have done stuff.
40s, 50s?
50?
He was still in the 70s. He's like 70 something right now.
Really? Okay, but who knows what he was actually doing before that? Because all of a sudden, you just start like killing.
That's what I was going to say.
Okay, you don't like me, I'm going to kill you. No, it started. He had to have done things he never got caught for.
So I did try to look up what his past might have been like. So his childhood. There was no recordings of his childhood. Nothing that pointed to the finger of him doing any horrible acts. It just said that he left Oaxaca when he was a teenager just to go find work because there was nothing for him in his village.
I want to know if he had like girlfriends because it says that he did those to women that like rejected him. So he had to have started like when he was younger and like he actually like had to have cared for someone or wanted to be with someone that rejected him. And I think like, what is that first?
Or he could be, what are those people called? Incels?
Incels?
I forgot there's 2 names that actually blend into one, but I believe it is mainly men who are virgins not by choice though, meaning that they get rejected by every woman. They get rejected and they think that, how can they reject me? I'm gorgeous. I'm beautiful. Like, how dare they reject me? So I wonder if he was a virgin too.
I don't know.
But do you think that he like thought of himself as that? Like that he like I think that if he I think he gained his popularity or whatever by how, like you said, like giving people stuff. So I think he had low self-esteem. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
definitely.
cared, like he probably just hated him, and people just didn't find him attractive or something, or he just I don't know.
I also think I was thinking when you said by a sentencing that he was, what was it that you said, was he calm, or he was just like accepting of it?
He was accepting of it. He was calm. He didn't.
I think it's because of his age. He was just like, I'm already
gonna die
old.
soon.
I'm gonna die soon. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Yeah,
He didn't show any remorse.
So I wonder if he didn't show any remorse because he's old. He has nothing else to live for. He's already old.
Yeah, that could be a possibility.
That's sad though for the families though, for the ones that want to see, like, you know what I mean? Like there's a difference. I think when someone like goes to prison and they're remorseful and everything and stuff like that, or at least show some sort of remorse.
Yeah.
But for the ones that are just like, I don't care anymore, you know,
Yeah.
it's like, I feel like that. I mean, other than them going to jail, like that doesn't give the family some sort of closure.
Any closure.
Because I know there's some family members who think like, why them? Why did you pick her?
Mm-hmm.
What was the reason? Tell me the reason. Why did you pick my daughter, my aunt, my
sister?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them want the reason. They don't want to know that they're just nothing.
So yeah. All of them like in their later years, like 40s, 30s type?
A lot of the ones that I did look up and find were 30s, 40s.
Oh, okay.
I think there was like a 20-year-old in there, but that's what I found from the victims that were identified. Keep in mind, there was a child.
Mm-hmm.
But also, you said there was a man.
There was a man as well.
There was a child.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder, this is weird, but I wonder if they were found or they were murdered before he did anything.
Maybe.
And they were just buried there.
What if those were loose ends of someone that like when he first started, like they went after him because they knew like his wife was last seen or whatever with him.
Oh, and they killed the husband and the child, the whole family kind of thing?
Yeah.
I want to go back to you saying that he didn't care because he's old and like in his 70s, because keep in mind, he did this in his house with tenants living in other parts of this building. Mm-hmm. And there was evidence like out in plain sight. But you can see it.
He didn't care.
He didn't care.
You know what I mean? Like, what if it was a house that had like rooms that were like detached or you can go in through other ways?
Yeah. So it is like that. So you can't go inside the house. Like he has his own like section and you can go to other places, but he still
if he was able to see, like when the husband walked in.
Yeah, exactly.
And he saw like all that stuff, then yeah.
Yeah, like he basically didn't care.
Yeah.
If he was caught or not.
So the way you're just okay, so he didn't live in a house by himself.
No, he didn't live in a house by himself.
It wasn't an apartment either.
It wasn't an apartment.
Was it a house with rooms that are yours, like the movie Coraline?
So it's
you know, it's like, it looks like a huge house, but there's actually 3 different like
sections. Exactly. Yeah.
So it is like that.
There you go. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
So he lived by himself, but he didn't live by himself.
And if he did it like that and not that close to neighbors, roommates, technically, he didn't care. He didn't give a shit.
He didn't care.
That's crazy.
And the way that his specific way of murdering them, just letting them bleed out. Well, I guess that comes from like butcher.
That's butcher.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
They just like hit me right now.
I like it. You're just like, oh wait.
I was like, wait. But yes, that was the case of the Cannibal of Atizapan. And we'll end it with this. How well do you know your neighbor? And with that, remember to be well.
Be safe.
And see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.